channel. If you're new here, I'm the Shelby of Shelby Remakes, and today we are making tofu. If you've ever ordered tofu at a restaurant, or maybe you had it at someone's house, you know that it can go one of two ways. Either one, they know how to cook it and it's totally awesome and great and you love it. Two, and this is probably like the most common thing that happens, it is pure garbage and just completely inedible. Which is unfortunate because I feel like because so many restaurants and people don't know how to cook tofu, it gets kind of a bad rap, and it actually can be pretty delicious. You just have to know what you're doing and how to prepare it correctly. So whether you are a carnivore, a vegan, or a vegetarian, or maybe even just someone who wants to have a little bit less meat and try some alternatives, I think this could be a great recipe. As long as you cook tofu correctly, it can be delicious, I promise you. I'm planning on filming today's video a little bit differently because I haven't made a cooking video in a while, but I kind of experimented with the ones that I did make, and I found that you guys tended to like the ones best when I was in them, kind of talking to you in a more relaxed setting rather than just like an overhead shot of me doing things and putting text on the screen. Those videos that I made just didn't get the same number of views, so I'm gonna talk to you and we are gonna cook together. Go ahead, grab yourself a glass of wine, a bag of chips. If you're someone after my own heart, they will be jalapeno chips. And if you wanna follow along, grab yourself a block of tofu because we are going to get started with step number 1. So my first tip to you is to make sure that it is extra firm tofu because if you're gonna bake tofu, it can't be soft, okay? Soft tofu is for like the dessert type things. I've only bought the I've only ever bought soft tofu once, and it was to make a dip with. So don't buy soft, buy extra firm. It's okay if it's not already pressed because I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to know is tofu is packaged in water, okay? So you need to get the water. Devin, I kept saying okay after my things and I was just thinking that I'm a travel vlogger, okay? Okay, okay. We're gonna try not to do that, okay?
See that it's in water, okay?
Okay.
So you're gonna get rid of that water because it's in water, okay?
Okay.
The reason it's in water is so it doesn't go bad, okay?
Okay.
So we gotta get some scissors out and we gotta get rid of this water, okay?
Okay. So I usually cut it over the sink and just drain as much as I can. Now some people might think, okay, we drained the water, we can cut it, it's good to go. Wrong. This needs to be pressed with the heaviest thing you have in your kitchen, which for me happens to be my KitchenAid stand mixer. So first, I'm gonna do a little close-up shot to show you how I cut it and prepare it to put it on a little tray underneath my KitchenAid. So here we go. So once you have your little tofu cutting board sandwich, you're going to want to put the heaviest things that you can on top of this. So I like to use my KitchenAid because if you have one, you know, these bad boys are heavy. So I put mine under there. So it's got some paper towel and dish towels to kind of absorb all that moisture while it sits. But if you don't have one of these, that really doesn't matter. You can use some pots, maybe some books, some heavy cans. There was a period of time there where I used an actual 20-pound like weight for lifting weights, but I stopped doing that because it rolled off the counter and put a hole in the floor. So maybe don't do that. But now that you have your tofu pressing, we're going to set a timer for about half hour. The longer that you leave it, the better. Sometimes I will do this maybe a few hours before supper and completely forget about it and come back and I'm like, yes, extra pressed, ready to absorb all that flavor. So basically, the longer that you leave your tofu to press, the more water you can get out of it, which means the more flavor it can absorb. And that's what we really want in our tofu, is flavor. So if you're short on time, I mean, 30 minutes is fine, but 45 minutes to an hour is even better. All right, we're back. It's been probably close to an hour, so if you waited also closer to an hour, that's great. First things first, let's preheat the oven. So I'm gonna turn mine to about 425 on convection. Okay, and we're gonna pull out our tofu. Oh yeah. The paper towel is soaked. Like, I could wring this out if I wanted to. So that just goes to show how much water is still in there after you rinse it. Like, look at this. There you go. And there's also a paper towel on the bottom and a dish towel. So that's why you gotta get the water out. You don't want water in your tofu. You want all the flavor. So take your tofu, dump it. You're not eating it, I am, so we're keeping it. Okay, so we're gonna use one bowl to make everything in. We're just gonna make our lives easier, cut back on dishes. We're all here for it, let's be honest. So we're gonna start off with some tamari or soy sauce. Whatever you got is totally fine. I'm gonna use about a tablespoon to start of tamari. Actually, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons. These are extra dry, so they're really kind of absorbing all the liquid already. So I wanna make sure we have enough soy sauce in there to give it some salt content, just to enhance all the spices and flavors we're gonna add in. Okay, so the next liquid ingredient that I'm going to add is liquid smoke. If you can't find it, look again in with the barbecue sauces. Promise you it's there. You just have to look for it. It took me a really long time, and then finally I found it at Shelby's with ease, and it was on sale for 50 cents for a bottle. It's normally $4.99. Probably expired, but like, I'm sure it's fine. So I'm gonna put in 5 dashes of that.
Oh my God.
If you've never smelled liquid smoke, it's literally just liquid smoke. This is like a hickory, and it just has that kind of smoked flavor that you would typically find on like meat, I guess. So yeah, it's really delicious, I promise. Next, I'm going to add some garlic powder. I'm just gonna use my spoon now because that one has liquid in it and I don't want to get liquid in my spices. So I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of garlic powder. I have some onion flakes as well. If you have onion powder, that'll work too. So I'm gonna do 1 big tablespoon of that. And if you don't like garlic or onion, you can use whatever you want. If you want to try put in like some barbecue sauce in there, have at her. If you want to try like chili powder or cumin or curry, those will all be great too. So don't be afraid to play with your flavors. I'm just kind of doing something baseline, classic, kind of a crowd pleaser tofu variety for you this evening. Okay, so I always add some turmeric just because it's really good for you, good anti-inflammatory. So I'm just gonna put in about this much of a tablespoon. We're gonna add a few dashes of paprika for a little bit of a spice. Oh my God, I think it's empty. Let's try this. Perfect. Oh, this is what it looks like. Give a little mix here. If you were going to add a barbecue sauce or any other liquids, now is when I would put them in. That looks good. So, looks like this. Everything is coated evenly. It smells amazing. And now I'm going to add some tapioca flour or tapioca starch. If you're like,
Shelby, what the heck is that?
cornstarch. Cornstarch is literally the same thing. I just happened to buy this because it was in like a recipe I did a while ago and I have a bulk amount of it. So I'm using tapioca starch, same thing as cornstarch. But what that's gonna help to do is to suck up even more moisture and give it like a little bit of a coating that's going to get crunchy. That's where your like crispy kind of breading on the outside is going to come from. So I'm gonna add about a tablespoon, an overflowing tablespoon of tapioca or cornstarch. And I'm just gonna go back in and mix that around to make sure it's all coated. Okay, so that's all absorbed in. So I'm gonna add another tablespoon just to give it a little bit of a thicker kind of coating on the outside. Okay, that looks good. I'm happy with that texture. So this is what it looks like. If you wanted to, you could add some more liquid, so maybe some more soy sauce. You could even do like maple syrup or barbecue sauce, a wing sauce, whatever you like. And you could even add some breadcrumbs at the end there where I did the cornstarch or tapioca starch, just to give it an even more kind of crispy breading. So that's an option too if you prefer something like that. So next you're gonna get a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Mine's a little bit dirty because I used it last night, but I'm gonna reuse it because it's fine. I'm not gonna waste it. So you're just gonna pour them out onto your baking tray. And it's only Devin and I eating these, so I really don't care if I touch them. So I'm just gonna spread them out so that they're not touching each other. And there's what it looks like. We're gonna pop this in the oven for about 15 minutes. So they're in the oven. We're gonna set a timer for about 15 minutes. And then we're gonna flip them, and depending on your oven, you're either gonna do another 15 to maybe 20 minutes, depending on your oven and how crispy you want them or how wet they are, depending on the sauce that you might have used. So I will see you in about 15 minutes. Hello friends, we are now filming on my Samsung S10 Plus because it's just easier to film this part with a phone. So the timer just went off. We are going to check on these. I also put in some sweet potato fries, which I kind of seasoned the same way. I'm now going to flip them all over, and again, we're the ones eating these, so I really don't care. I'm going for the finger flip. So I'm gonna flip these and put them back in for probably 8 minutes, I'm gonna say. So use your own judgment. You can see where it's kind of getting crispy around the edges. You just don't want it to get burnt. So, and by the way, this stuff here is just like the extra batter pieces because I kind of just poured the bowl in, but it's fine. Okay. I'm gonna put this back in for 8 minutes and then we should be good to go. Time is up. Oh yeah, these are perfect. Oh yeah. All right, friends, mine are done. I don't know about yours, depends what you did, but I'm just gonna put these on a plate. Sorry if this like grosses you out, but it's fast and I really don't care, to be honest. Obviously, if I was serving this to people, I wouldn't do the same thing, but I'm at my own house. This is how it is. Condiments are always the best part of anything when you get to have a dip. So I'm having some sweet Thai sauce and some Frank's stinging honey garlic. Maddie's crying. Alright. First dip, Thai sauce.
Bon appetit.
Yeah, that's good. Mmm. I definitely recommend some kind of dip or coat them in a bowl with some kind of sauce. Maddie's right here on my leg. She wants some. I'm sorry, it has garlic and onion. You can't have any. Much too good for puppies. I can just eat these like a snack. They are so good. Mmm. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope that you learned something new today, that you found it helpful, or just that you enjoyed it. So thanks for clicking. If you enjoyed it, give me a like down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want. If you don't want to, don't do it. That's fine too. Anyway, I hope that you all have a fantastic day. Maddie's crying with her narwhal. I'm gonna have to show you right after I finish this. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Mwah.